The First Berserker Khazan is a hardcore, punishingly difficult game. In addition to a huge amount of side content you can complete, there are 16 main story bosses you have to take down in order to get any of its multiple endings. That said, difficult doesn't always mean frustrating. Frustration comes with difficulty, sure, but it also happens when the mechanics are new, the timings are tight, and when the attacks feel cheap. Instead of ranking the main story bosses by difficulty or quality, I thought I'd take a different approach. Here's my ranking of Khazan's 16 main story bosses from least to most frustrating. Number 16, Yatuga. We're gonna open this list with a tutorial boss. Yatuga is a Giga Chad Yeti, and keeping in mind this list isn't about difficulty per se, Yatuga is the easiest boss you'll face in Khazan. He's got 2 combos, a ranged attack where he can throw ice, an ice breath spell, a grab attack, and he can inflict frost. It's a lot, but wait, other bosses are way more complicated. He wasn't frustrating at all to me because he was the first boss, and I was psyched to learn the new mechanics of the game. Pushover, no, but you can take him down while retaining some chill. Number 15, Blade Phantom. Aside from the fact that I love this fight, I never felt frustrated fighting him. He's got a lot of combos, a grab attack, a 360 AoE, among other things, and he could probably be the final boss in a lot of games you played before. But the stunning settings in which you fight him, the moody background music, and the excitement of fighting your first humanoid boss make it a joy to master. He turns out to have a piss-poor attitude and definitely lacks people skills, but he's our bro, giving you and the NPCs throughout the rest of the game. For number 14, we have Aratra. Little Miss Spider isn't so bad. You can break her limbs, which allows you to get in a bunch of damage very quickly. She does have burst attacks that can be hard to counter due to the slight delay in execution, and she keeps escaping the tunnels where she regains her limbs and her stamina. If you don't destroy the spider hangouts within the level, little spiders will randomly appear, making the fight more frustrating. She can spit a web at you, trapping you for a couple of seconds, but this attack is well telegraphed and easy to dodge. And because she's a spider, she can inflict a venom status that rapidly depletes your health until you chug potions or wait it out. And at number 13, we have Scalpel. I thought Scalpel was a fun fight. By the time you reach him, you probably have fine-tuned a lot of the mechanics that make this fight go smoothly, mainly guarding and brink guarding. His grab attack throws you into a coffin on his back, making you a tasty snack for whatever demon is lurking inside. If you make mistakes, he'll enter a berserker mode where his attacks get a bit more erratic and unpredictable. He has 2 health bars, which I usually hate, but for the second one, since it decreases on its own, you just need to survive. For number 12, we have Reese. As a mage, Reese would probably have been more frustrating if she were an earlier mid-game boss rather than the penultimate one. By the time you reach her, you'll be pretty good at reacting to her attacks. She can inflict chaos, which is annoying, and she can effectively shrink the arena by putting up barriers, making you fight her in closer quarters. Like Scalpel, she has 2 health bars, which always seems like a dirty trick. Regardless, she's a fun boss, somewhat making up for her frustrating mechanics. Number 11, Princess Alina. Here we have a hybrid warrior-mage battle. Both aspects have their own frustrations. During the warrior phase, she does really quick stab attacks with her spear and then dashes far out of reach, making it a bit difficult to get in some damage. It's also difficult to deal damage when she's in her mage phase. She stays at the front of the arena where a choir responds to her tossing musical notes at them, and they in turn send out ranged attacks that can be difficult to avoid until you learn what to watch out for. Hint, look at the floor. This particular frustration is negated when you learn that she's weak to lightning. So, lob a concentrated lightning essence at her when she's standing still for a good amount of damage. Problem solved. For number 10, we have Shiktuka. I put Shiktuka in this spot because, while he's not a difficult boss, his wild movements make him a little bit more of a pain to learn. Also, he can inflict plague, which can be pretty nasty. I found this fight to be so uninspiring that the frustration came with having to learn his movesets without the proper motivation of defeating an interesting boss. Get a life, Shiktuka. Number 9, Ozma. Ozma is without a doubt the most difficult fight in the game. He has up to 3 phases depending on the ending you get, and added together, it felt like there were 30 moves and variations that had to be mastered to defeat him. That said, it was possible to learn them, making beating him so satisfying. Difficult? Unquestionably. Frustrating? Not really, if he had the right attitude. And coming in at number 8, Volbeno. This boss's frustrations have to do with being an early game boss and learning how to deal with status effects. He can set fire to essentially the entire arena, but the obvious defense against this is climbing up to the second floor. Yes, he has 2 floors you can fight him on, so if he sets fire to one of them, you just escape to the other. Aside from that, he doesn't have too many moves and they're easy enough to counter. Just play him with a beginner's heart and you'll find your frustration level dropping pretty fast. And at number 7, Viper. In my mind, Viper is the first real boss. The mission you need to complete to get to him is pretty challenging, as it's the first time you learn to deal with trash mobs and learn crowd control. You also fight your first elite here. The encounter itself feels like you've recently graduated from tutorial mode and are truly battling for the first time in the game. Also, have I mentioned I hate multiple health bars? But that cutscene between the two of them? Peak. Number 6, Hismar. I think most people, from what I can tell, enjoyed this fight. I was not one of them. It took me all day to kill him, and I don't know why. I'd beat him down to a fraction of his health, only for him to smack me around like his little chew toy. The only way to get any real damage in is to attack his head, but that's so hard to do when you're given such limited opportunities. Also, when will a dragon fight be free of a bad camera? We may never know. For number 5, I picked Meluka. Now we have a true test of our skills and patience. The first phase isn't so bad, but that second phase? Damn. He has these saber attacks that are both delayed and fast, with enough variations on them that take a bit of zen in order to get them down. This is also the first time that the chaos effect is prominent, depleting your health bar and not allowing you to heal past a small amount for quite some time. And the potions for prevention and cure are not easy to come by. If you're frustrated by Meluka, you truly have a right to be. At number 4, we have Rankus. I'm just gonna say it, Rankus is a dick. He's got some cool melee attacks to learn, but he also loves to retreat from you so that he can shoot bullets and fireballs. He gulps potion that can refill his entire stamina bar, prolonging an already rage-inducing fight. His spin to win makes me want to kill him. And when you do, mwah, chef's kiss. For number 3, Elamane. I don't know what happened, but I didn't record my Elamane fight. Here I'm showing her second optional version, but it's pretty much the same. I almost always use my own gameplay in my videos, so I'd rather use this than someone else's footage. That said, I feel sorry for Elamane. She definitely gets the short end of the stick in the story of Khazan, but that doesn't make her any less frustrating of a fight. First off, she hides behind her shield for almost 100% of the time. You can get gear that lets you penetrate it, but each time you smack her shield, she builds up electricity, and she uses that to cook you. Just beating her down doesn't always work, because if you're anywhere near her when you deplete your stamina bar, she body slams and spears you, taking a bunch of your health in one move. The saving grace in this fight is you can stun lock her, especially with a greatsword build. At number 2, Balerion. I wonder if this will be my most controversial pick. This boss made me so mad. If you don't play perfectly, she hits you with what feels like a million little annoying things, like making the arena so dark you can barely see her, or by creating a bubble around herself that you have to smack a million times before breaking it. And there's also a mechanic where she goes a mile away from you and creates an increasing number of skulls that you must interrupt, because if it gets to a maximum of 7, she creates a separate elite enemy you have to defeat before you can start damaging her again. Rude. And my pick for the most frustrating fight in the game is Troka. And this might be my least controversial pick. Troka is a witch who is really good at water spells, so of course the arena is made of water. She's just so annoying. She loves getting away as far as possible and then attacking with water projectiles. If you do manage to get near her, she has AoE attacks that are a little unpredictable, and speaking of unpredictable, she has a nasty grab attack that shortens your stamina bar to a fraction of what it normally is. She's not impossible, and she isn't even close to the most difficult boss, but she provides frustration in spades. It feels so good to take this witch down. And that's it. I'm sure there are a lot of opinions out there about this topic, and I want to hear all of them. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. It means a lot. Take care, and we'll see you for the next one.